Welcome to the Seniors Rock Show, presented by the Law Office of Michael Robinson, PC, on News Radio, Wham 1180. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion, shedding a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join in with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now from the News Radio Wham 1180 studio in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Well, hello and welcome to the Seniors Rock Show on this New Year's Eve day. It's going to be kind of a slow, cool vibe today. That's what we're going to plan on. And we're going to let go of last year and ease into next year. I am Joanna, and I'm here with co-host estate planning attorney Mike Robinson and our show producer Pam. And we will be happy to share this New Year's Eve afternoon with you for the next hour anyway. And we're hoping that you'll join us by calling if you'd like to, if you're so inclined. And we are live on the radio here, so we're ready to talk to you anytime. Give us a call. It's 222-1180, and you'll hear that during the show as well. So if you're new, jot it down because we like to do that when we're live. In fact, today is all about you. And News Talk, Mike, we talk about this. It's the go-to radio format for those that have an interest in learning about things, right? So curious people like you and I, Mike, they say that if you continue to learn, we've talked about this on the show, as you age, it helps to increase your longevity, keeps your mind sharp, and it keeps your life full because it gives you things to do. And that's important. Don't be sedentary. And Mike and I share our interest in learning things with you every week, listeners. So I thought I'd look back today at 2022, see what opportunities to learn that the show gave us. They brought to us and to you, listeners. And Mike, I'm thinking we could take a walk down that Seniors Rock Lane, so to speak, in the first part of the show and do a little remembering of memorable moments. Maybe Pam has a few as well. And if you're listening and you have a favorite program or a topic you found interesting, please share it with us. Give us a call. We'd love to hear it. And you don't even need to be on the air if you don't want to be. If you're shy, you can just tell Pam what it is and she'll tell us and we'll tell you. So please do that and tell Pam anything you like and she'll relay it to us, as I said. And if you're new to our unique program, as I like to say, welcome very much. And our mission every week is to shine a bright light on aging. And we say, provide important information and entertainment to all adults, caregivers, families, and the professionals that support all of these folks. So it's very different and we have a lot of fun doing it too. So we hope you enjoy it. I know we get great feedback, so thank you for that. We get that all the time. And yes, we are proud of our numbers, the age numbers and the amount of time we've been on the air sharing these things with you guys every week. So after we look back today, we'll look ahead and we'll ask for your input, listeners, on topics you'd like to hear about. So put your thinking caps on and help us plan the 2023 agenda. I should have had Pam do some sound effects there because that's a big deal. We're going into a new year and we're going to do our best to deliver in that year as we do all the time. And Mike, I can't believe it. Here we are getting ready for another year of life and, of course, advocacy for seniors.
Indeed. Hey, Joanna, and we certainly are, and I'm looking forward to it. I know you are too. There's always new information and new issues coming up that impact our listeners, and we'll continue to keep our listeners apprised of those items. Mm-hmm. And, of course, there's also issues that aren't new. They don't seem to go away, and they still need attention, and we'll continue to do our part to advocate for a resolution of those issues. Some that come to mind are that we've talked about is, one is the caregiver shortage, both in nursing homes and for home caregivers.
Big one.
We talked about on the show the predatory practices of some law firms and nursing homes suing family members to recover cost of care for a loved one, and always scams directed at seniors. Yeah. We'll certainly continue to monitor those items.
Yeah, they're getting worse every day, too. I've been getting them on my phone and text messages. Really disturbing to me was during the snowstorm, I had one that said, I'm stuck and I can't get out. And there was a picture of a pole that was broken in snow. Could have been from anywhere. And I knew it wasn't, there was no phone number attached to it. It was just like a hashtag sign. So I erased it because that can be a scam. And what they want you to do is click on it. So, it's getting annoying. I am going to do what I heard on the radio a couple days ago was from a security expert that you should have a VPN. That's like something that'll protect your phone. I guess it, might be a few dollars a month, but from what they're saying, it's well worth it. So I'm going to put a VPN on my phone to protect my property.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. And as you say, I mean, they've become very sophisticated and very good and very convincing, whether it's how they connect on the phone or whether it's an email or something. I've just adopted the practice. If I don't know for certain who I received something from, I just delete it. I don't bother clicking. I figure if it's something important or somebody I know, they'll be in touch with me if need be.
Absolutely. And that's what voicemail is for on your phone, right? So if you don't know the phone number, it doesn't look familiar, you know, uh, go on the side of caution and don't answer it. Let them leave a voicemail. Like Mike said, if it's important, they will. And there's a lot of guys out there, and I shouldn't say guys, people out there that are, unscrupulous and want to take advantage of us. So we're going to guard us ourselves and hopefully give you guys tips throughout the year too. We have Lifespan on occasionally, and they have some experts as well on that stuff. So
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
important.
I would be remiss because it's been over a week since we've talked. I would be remiss not to ask you, how was your Christmas?
It was very nice, thank you. Yeah, we gathered at the Palvino household over there, with my in-laws, and people from out of town came in, and the babies came in, and it was just a very nice occasion. It was really lovely. Thank you for asking. And you?
Yeah, say, we got together. Now, as you know, all my three kids are all out on the West Coast, so we didn't get to see them, but they all congregated at Nate's house in Portland and spent several days together over Christmas. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so that was nice, and we did some FaceTiming with them, so that was fun, and then spent some time with our respective families. Kelly and I did, and it was a quieter Christmas than some others, but it was still very nice. A little bittersweet, as you know. It was the first holiday season
Hmm.
without my mom, and
Hmm.
so that colored things a little bit, but it was still very nice. Thanks.
Yeah, and it's interesting how every single one is different. We anticipate that they're all going to be kind of the same from the traditions, but they do end up being different, and each one is a little special. So sometimes, a little rowdier than others, but all special indeed.
Yeah, and that's, it's funny that you bring that up because it's something I've tried to adopt over the last several years, and probably some of that was prompted by the COVID situation, but just to kind of keep flexible in terms of it doesn't have to be the same all the time.
Exactly. And it looks like Pam's got a message here. Is she on the phone, Pam? Ann?
I'm
Hello,
sorry.
Ann.
Hello.
Welcome to the Seniors Rock Show.
Hi. Say, I just wanted to remind churches or organizations that try to help the people that are at home that are elderly that, when we give them turkeys, if they're all alone, chances are they're not going to cook a turkey for one person. And the other
Hmm.
thing would be canned goods. I have an elderly friend that's 97, and she had told me they, had given her these turkeys and that, and then she puts them out in the garage and doesn't know what to do with them. So I'm just trying to help maybe people think about that maybe we could give them a turkey dinner or have somebody in the area, donate some kind of food to the people, and also foil, like, for example, we could do canned tuna fish, not canned tuna fish, but the foil packs that they have. We could give them things like that, or boxes of soup, because they cannot open a lot of them canned goods.
Good point. That's a good point. And thank you. Those are great ideas and good points. And I know many of the churches do gather, things that are what do they call them? Non-perishable items like cans of
Sure.
soup and things. But that's a good thing you said that they can't open the cans because I've
Yeah,
had
they
that
can't open the
situation
can. She was
myself.
telling me a friend of hers has to come over when he could, and he has cancer, unfortunately. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Thanks so
No,
much.
Yeah, and thank you. That you bring up such a great point, and I hope I'm not saying something improper, but when you're thinking about making donations, maybe call the place to which you're making the donation and ask them what is an appropriate gift, because so often we're trying to be helpful, but as Ann just indicated, we might not think about how's that really going to work on the receiver's end.
Great idea. And I can't imagine you being improper, Mike.
Well,
In any situation. But
that
anyway,
could be
good.
a
That's
whole
a
other
good thought.
show, right? But I just don't want to overwhelm people with phone calls. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, donations that, there are all kinds of ways to do that. And just again, watch out for the scammers out there and make sure they're legit. And like Mike said, make sure you're doing the best thing possible. And yeah, I know the Grape organization, they do a senior thing every holiday season, and they go to the senior centers and hand out things to folks, and they gather things that they're, like socks and toothpaste and things that are really useful. So
Right.
there's all kinds of ways to do it, and lots of organizations to get out there and join and give back, if you will. I guess that's what it's all about, right? This
Yeah,
holiday season.
sure, sure. And as we go through the year, but yeah, that was Ann, thank you. That was a great comment, and yeah, useful.
Pam, how was your Christmas?
It was very good. Thank you. Yeah, we just hung out with family and stayed close to home, so it was nice and easy breezy and very relaxing.
Awesome. Very nice. And when we come back, folks, we're going to do some more reflecting. So stay tuned on News Radio WHAM 1180 and the news, and not the news, the Seniors Rock Radio Show.
Now's the time for us to say Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have a vision now and then of a world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year, Happy New Year.
Very nice, Pam. Who's singing that, by the way? Who is that?
That's
That is
ABBA.
Yep.
Ah, true. Okay. I knew it was familiar. I couldn't place it. So, wow. We have lots to look back on here, of course. So, let's talk about the future now. Let's get into some new year ahead. And I'd like to not play a game, but just kind of banter about here. And listeners, you're welcome to join us. It's 222-1180, and that's area code 585. And if you're out of town, and we do have some out of town listeners, believe me, and they're in different countries, actually. That's pretty cool. But if you folks are out there, 1-800-295-1180. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about things or topics that we'd like to have on the show next year, kind of, do a little bit of sketching in the agenda, if you will. And I know there's one thing that keeps coming up to me is recycling. Sounds weird, but I like to be, a good citizen, and I try to recycle, but I keep hearing all these different, getting different feedback. And then I heard something on the radio from a local expert who I'm going to get a hold of and have on the show, that some of the things I'm recycling or think I can, you're not supposed to. So I'm getting very confused. Do you feel like that, Mike?
Yeah, in fact, we talk about that at our house a lot. Is because we try to recycle as certainly as much as we can. But you're right. Can we recycle this? Can we recycle that? Because you don't want to make it more difficult for the people dealing with the trash. But at the same time, you want to recycle as much as you can.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing for sure. And so I've got someone's name. I stole it from another show on another station, but I'm going to get a hold of that person. We'll have them on because it was quite interesting. And there's other things I would like. I'll name a couple, then I'll ask you and Pam to maybe say if you have anything you'd like to hear about or talk about. Listeners, again, you can join us. We are live, and I know you're getting ready for tonight. You're probably doing your hair, picking out your outfit, picking out your funny hat, but we're here. So come on, join us. Anyway, I'm just getting silly, but I would like to see more on, I love our physical therapy segments. I love the simple tips that they give us that we can do at home. Agape Physical Therapy. Thank you. And I'd like to learn a little bit more about things like that we can do at home. For example, yoga. I would like to, there's certain moves that I think everybody could do. So we'll see if we can get somebody on to talk about that. So that would be fun. And then the DIY thing, the do it yourself. I love all those crazy hack tips and that kind of stuff. So those are a few of mine. Would you like to jump in, Mike?
Yeah, sure. And I just, from my perspective, we spent a lot of time in the past year talking about estate planning, of course,
Mhm.
which, of course, addresses preparing for the legal and financial issues that come about when a loved one passes. And in this coming year, I want to spend some time talking about the actions and the procedures that are necessary when someone dies. Because I've just learned over the years that's an area where a lot of folks get themselves in trouble or they miss important opportunities. So I'd like to
Mhm.
spend some more time on that issue, and also I'd like to spend some more time talking about mindset. And we do touch on it, now and again, the way in which we approach and interpret our world. And as you said at the beginning of the show today, being a lifelong learner enriches our lives at every stage. And learning more about how our minds work and how we make choices in our lives, that can greatly improve our quality of life. And, of course, also we want to keep our listeners updated on any legislative or other developments in the world of estate planning. And I was just going to ask Pam, but she's on the phone. So,
Yeah, it looks like we have a caller. I'll throw another one in there while we're waiting, though. I really like the things that we talked about getting out of the house. So I'd like to hear more about hiking and opportunities in the area for that.
yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of cool. I know my dentist is really knowledgeable about all of the local waterfalls, which I always turn to him and say, "Hey, where can I go?" So there are some great spots. That's a fun topic for me to bring to the air, I think.
Yeah, no, and it's true. There's, or I mean, obviously in the city on the downtown with the falls and whatnot, but yeah, as you get down to the south in the Finger Lakes area, there's a lot of really stunning waterfalls. So and not all of them are difficult to reach either.
That's right. That's right. They're within a day's trip, a couple hours. So that's going to be something we'll talk about. What was it? Forest bathing, they say. It's
Right.
actually
Yeah.
very good for your health to get out into nature. And what are some of the other things? I don't know. There's just so many different little things. Travel, local restaurants. Now that we're all opening up, there's new restaurants. There's new theaters like we talked about this past year. There's a couple that have opened, so we'll bring all that to you, folks. And Pam is looking at us there. Pam, do we have a caller?
Yes, we do. We have Lorraine on the line.
Welcome to the show, Lorraine. How can we help you?
Thanks a lot. I feel like I'm in my late 30s or something, but I'm 85 and I'm doing extremely well. But I wanted you guys to possibly put on a segment sometime in the near future about all the things that can happen when you're alone and you can't go out and ask for help, like the opening the cans that was mentioned earlier in your show. If you're not on the internet, but you only get internet references from the radio, which happens constantly. Pills, you can't open your pills. That's probably the worst. And,
Yes.
a list of things and what could you possibly do?
Those are great tips, huh, Mike?
Yeah, Lorraine, thank you. Those are great topics, and you're right, and that's something that I encounter with folks quite a bit. They don't have internet access, or it's difficult for them to navigate. And in things, you're right, as simple as opening your medication or a can, or one of the things that is sort of one of my pet peeves is the packaging that comes with some of this. You need a
Same.
microscope to be able to read it, and
Or a
especially as we
hatchet to
get
open it.
older. Yeah, so those are great topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine, for calling and for listening. And, this lack of internet is a big concern. And again, go back to the GRAPE organization and Lifespan. We are doing a town hall meeting in February, and that is one of the topics we're going to bring to the legislators. What about our folks? What about our elders who are alone and have no internet access? Because the whole world is going that way. I mean, obviously. So that is a big topic. Thank you for bringing that up, Lorraine. And we'll get back to you on what happens when we get feedback from the legislators as to what they're doing to represent us.
Right, and that's coming up in what, early February, correct?
That's right. That's right. I think it's the 3rd, but
Okay.
we'll talk more about that. We just did a show about it too. So, um, and what was it? We were going to ask Pam something earlier. Oh, Pam, anything you'd like to have us do on the show this year?
Sure, yeah. So my grandparents moved in with my family this past year, and my in-laws also had to put their grandmother on that side in an assisted living facility. And so I think once you kind of get to that age where you have to figure out, what is the next best step for your loved one, maybe having someone from an assisted living facility or from hospice care for, talking about those options and what to do when your loved one gets in that position where they need that extra care, and figuring out what the best option is for them and the family at the time.
Great topic. And I know just the person to get on the air with us. We have several people actually over at the Village at Unity. They are a continuum of care campus, as we like to call it. And that is somewhere where you can stay and you move, to different areas of the campus if necessary. And they do a terrific job. So we'll have some of them on, and we have in the past. But again, there's so many topics under that umbrella that it's worth putting on the agenda this year for sure.
Yeah,
Will be
absolutely.
back with us. Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, our final quarter hour of 2022 is coming up right after the break. Stay with us here on News Radio Wham 1180.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days lang syne?
And welcome back to the Seniors Rock Show. It wouldn't be New Year's Eve without Auld Lang Syne. And Joanna, you know who wrote those words, correct?
Rabbi Burns,
There you
or
go.
Robert Burns for most folks. And I used to go to the Rabbi Burns dinner in Greece with my dad. And that's another whole story. But we used to do the Gay Gordon dance and have the haggis. And it was an awesome time. But anyway, we have callers on the line, I think.
Yeah, Chris, hello. Welcome to the Seniors Rock Show.
I got a suggestion for you. Alternative health care, especially that is controversial, that insurance companies don't want to pay for. And I say that because I've had a very serious situation that traditional medicine just didn't work on. And the doctors even told me that it's not working. So I went the other way and found a lot of relief.
Oh, very good. Yeah, that's a great topic. Thank you.
Yes, and there are alternative things. I think a lot of things have come to the surface now where insurance is getting a little bit more, open about covering things like yoga or not yoga, but I mean things like that that are body related. What's one of the ones where they with the needles? What's that called?
Acupuncture?
I think that's covered in some cases.
Yep. But
Chris,
but
are
you're
you
right,
still on the
Chris.
line? I'm sorry. No, he's not. Okay. Thank you for calling, Chris. And that is another big topic and, one that we will talk about for sure. And if there's alternative, I get a lot of information that comes through the website, Seniors Rock Radio website, and folks that would like to come on and talk about things. And sometimes those are the topics that they want to cover. So I'll try to get them in this year for sure.
Excellent. And then someone else called. I don't know if they're still on the line, but a good, and this was good suggestion when it comes to the difficulty with opening up the medication containers is you can ask the pharmacy for an easy open container.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's not they're not the child-proof caps that can be so difficult.
Interesting. And I'm going to throw in here, this is not alternative care, but, I've been going to see Dr. Petrescu at Direct Primary Care, and we don't use insurance. It's just for that part of direct primary care. You still use your insurance for, hospitals and specialists and so on. But, about 80% of the things that you want to talk about, you can talk to with your primary care doctor. So that's kind of alternative, but not really because it's the traditional primary care, only enhanced as far as I'm concerned, because you have more time with
Sure.
them. and you don't have to worry about all the paperwork, and they don't either. So that's why they get more time. And I just want to mention that. And we've got there's so many things. We've got a whole bunch of different topics coming up, and ones that people have brought up today. And I'm thinking about tonight. I keep going back to thinking about this evening, and I have to throw in here, folks, if you're going out and you're drinking, please don't drive. Use some of the services that are out there. Have a designated driver. We've all heard it a million times, but you can't hear it too much, right?
That's true. It's unfortunate. Every year there's a news story about not just one, but usually several incidents where somebody did not observe that advice.
Yeah, and that's why we're staying home. And you know what, though? You know what's kind of très chic right now, not to be drinking. And I think that's awesome because there was a time when people would say, "Oh, just have one," or they try to force people to drink. Right now, it's kind of cool. So enjoy. They've got all kinds of talk about alternative drinks. And so what if you use a fancy glass, for a soda drink, or a juice drink, or some healthy kind of concoction that you come up with fruit. There's so many pretty things you can make. And they actually, I heard, Mike, that the Parenton Golf Course has a no alcohol bar. How about that?
Ah, well, that's a neat idea because I
Yeah.
know a lot of people, as you say, they do kind of feel pressured if they're abstaining or just don't drink at all.
Mhm.
So yeah, to kind of take that option away maybe just makes it a more comfortable environment.
And I think there's one thing. Speaking of golf, one big thing that's coming up to Rochester this year, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is the PGA, right? That's going to be at Oak Hill Country Club. It's
Yep.
been around for like what, 121 years, older than us.
Yeah, and I was at the last championship that they did at Oak Hill, and Oak Hill just does a great job with the whole tournament. So yep, that'll be fun.
Absolutely. And speaking of fun, I wanted to mention this morning I was kind of jamming to I don't Alexa. I say that quietly so she doesn't go on, but um, they have all these different genres of music, and all you have to say is, Alexa, play music from the 60s. And I did that this morning, and I was having so much fun. Forgot about some really random songs like Hang On Sloopy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But it brought back memories of me roller skating at Tommy's Roller Palace when I was in the 7th grade. So, it's funny how these things can, jog your memory. And tonight will be a lot about memories and a lot about going forward. And we've had a crazy year in a lot of respects, but I do hope that everyone enjoys their evening tonight. And I wish everyone a happy new year. And I want to thank one more time, because I try to do this often, how much we appreciate everyone who supported or listened to the show this year. Thank you for that. And sometimes, Mike, I wish I had a magic mirror to see what's in store for us. Don't you?
Yep. We were talking about Miss Rita earlier and her
Yep.
magic mirror.
Yep. And some of our listeners might remember Miss Rita. She's from Rochester, and she lived in Penfield. And I guess I didn't know this, but she had a daycare on Browncroft Boulevard for 50 years. But anyways, she had a magic mirror, and she could see who was watching her on TV. Very cool, right? But this mirror didn't have a mirror; it just had a frame, and it was very high tech back in the day when I was in 7th grade. And but it was the 60s. The mirror today is called iHeart. But if I had Miss Rita's mirror today, Mike, I'd say I'd still just like to ask people, and this is what she used to say: "Magic mirror, tell me today, did all my friends have fun at play? We hope you all have fun today, and see you next year. And don't forget, seniors rock."